What's up, guys? Be here again, and today we're going to be covering the Adobe and RTX swings. So just kind of start off with our template here. There is a playlist you can check out on the YouTube channel, so if you just want to check out just swing trading stuff, you can. That's what this video is going to be kind of focused on. But yeah, let's get into it. So basically, in short, we just look for patterns with positioning. So we like to find a pattern, and then we like to look for a break above the 9 EMA, just in short. So we got an inside bar, we got a close above the 9 EMA, that's our trigger. We're in. It's a good overnight swing. Now intentionally you're supposed to go for the 21 EMA, the next EMA. In this case we opened at it, so that was kind of nice. And then we ended up smacking through 500 and into 505. We ended up selling, I'll just show you on the smaller time frame because it's kind of impossible to see otherwise. Zoom in right here. We ended up selling within the first 15 minutes of the day. As it was pushing through 500 into 501, we were selling. So we didn't even get the high of day, but it was already a good enough move. And we could show the gains at the end of the video. But just in short, looking for patterns with positioning. So again, you can just remove everything on this chart if you want. Trend line. So just seeing the fact that this was... Oh, hold on, let me turn this off. So the fact that this was inside of this candle right here, we're kind of eyes on this one. The fact that we're stuck inside of that candle is a good sign because it means we're squeezing, essentially. So we have an inside bar. We end up getting the close over both candles. So that's a very good sign that bulls are at least somewhat present. And the trigger above the 9 EMA. That's our big signal there is, hey, it's above this. So that's our trigger. So not just one thing by itself, but two things in unison. So that's a really good look. And then, of course, like I had on my chart, you can go back and you can have your levels or zones or whatever you want to have on your chart on top of that. That's fine. It works with it. It doesn't have to work against it. So if you want to use it for that, you can. And then the other trade was RTX. The exact same day. We actually found a few setups. We can look at those two for a second. Google was one that we liked a lot. It was a little early. You could see same results though. And then Meta. And of course this was from the election news. Of course that's why we got the moves, but it's good to have good reasons on why you're even looking at it in the first place. Which, oh, I don't have the chart on this at all. But basically what we were watching on this was just the kind of lows that are sitting here. I'll just show you the level. You go to the monthly time frame, go to emerging candles. Oops. Oh, that's right, I turned off OHLC. That's awkward. Alright, I'll just get my best that I can on this. Alright, and then back to the daily. And so the fact that we saw price kind of come up here and stop, and then when they pushed up here, you can see there's like a hammer hold the 9 EMA. They came back down, liquidated entry, another hammer, pop back up. Doji, gap down candle, then you have a gapped up candle, and then you have this wick. So it's almost like these other candles where in this same little vicinity, which this isn't a real zone, I'm just showing you the area we're looking at. You can see pattern here, pattern here, pattern here. So just good positioning. It wasn't really as visible as maybe if it was holding the 9 EMA or something. So not as easy to see, but just kind of like Google in that sense that it was just hitting common lows. So it was just a basic one. But that was another nice one. Didn't get the trigger though, so that's why we didn't go on top of that one. Same with Google. But RTX, the last trade that we took. Let me zoom in. Ignore all the fibs. It's just a bunch of junk I threw up. It's just this is a backwards fib, so I can get a weekly targets. It's this one. Sorry. From this low to this high. And that gives us those levels. And then you can leave that or delete it, whatever you want to do. And then I went from where they broke out to where they went to. It just gives me a couple more levels up here. And then that zone there. Or that gap fib there. So good higher low hold in that one. Good little move up here. Nice jump into that. But the reason that we got into this, it had good positioning on a good level that we were aware of. Good inside bar. So that was the entire reasoning of getting in. It was just slightly early entry, kind of like Google. We didn't have the trigger on Google, so we didn't enter it. But just because we had a good entry like Adobe, why not enter a second one? And it wasn't an as expensive play. I can show the gains and stuff real quick. Yeah, nothing special in terms of like gains, but the percentage is really nice, so that's really all we're worried about right now. Oh, someone else posted in here. Nice. Alright, so you can see just kind of posting some stuff to kind of just get people warmed up for it. You can see the original post here with all the fibs and everything. I think I messed them up a little bit in my quick explanation, but it was the same thinking. You can see 118.23, 118.24. That's the fib I'm going for. It's just that last fib extension target from that upside down fib to give us those forward targets. And then from there, you can see common lows. And in the stream, the reason these are highlighted is because I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like similar structure like this, where they get one impulse move, they slow down, they hold halfway of that point, and then they probably move up from there. From there, they've already kind of done that. You can see my explanation is that they'll go up. If they come back down, it'll be halfway of where they jumped from. So what I'm saying is the low to the high of their first move. So when they slow down, if they're holding 50% of that, higher probability says that it should go up, right? And this is actually pretty insane because I like seeing moves like this because it shows just how powerful a bull can be. And you'll see this in vice versa scenarios, but you'll always hear me lazily call this the liquidated entry. Some people hear it the 90% entry, but it's kind of cool that it went under the 50 and then the next day has that higher open. So probably not an actionable trade here for anyone to take this unless you were on the smaller time frames actually managing like a dip buy or something, but that never popped up there. But just cool thinking, just thinking about small stuff like that. But yeah, just big trade though was just inside bar. We ended up smacking the 21 EMA, so we took profits on it, and then you could see the entries and exits, of course. I also posted some other stuff just to look at. That we couldn't enter, of course, just because we were already in 2 plays, but $85, and then this was $690, this is $370, so you can see the entries were all kinds of prices. We closed before we even opened. I warned everybody. It was 25 minutes before. I just had to tell everybody, like, we got to close at least the closer dated contract on Adobe because of the presidential election moving it up so much, and then we have to trim one of these RTXs. That's just we got to get that out. So we trimmed the first RTX at 85, trimmed the first Adobe at about 81. And it was actually about 80, but when I was typing it, it was 81. RTX on our move up ended up hitting 125%. Farther contract on Adobe was 57. Right after I typed that, they started rallying more. So we ended up hitting 102% on Adobe. And for RTX, we ended up closing that last one out at 65%. Sorry, I couldn't find it. But yeah, these are the results from our trades. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop below and just ask some basic stuff. Anything you want to ask. The majority of our levels will almost always come from monthly emerging candles for our swings at least, and then from there, we like to analyze what is it holding, what is it doing, and a lot of the time you'll see like this level could have been drawn from a monthly emerging. I didn't have it drawn that way, right? I had a bunch of fibs and fib extensions, and it got me a level that was similar to it. So we have a couple ways of getting the same levels. It's just how you want to go about it, how you see things. It's really just up to you. But yeah, positioning, you want to find good candles with positioning, so it needs to be above a level, or bearish if you're looking for downside. And then triggers, use your 9 EMA as your trigger to get extra passive plays in. Use your 21 as a basic first target for yourself if you need it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys need some extra examples, again, we have that playlist I mentioned at the beginning of the video, so take your time, go check that out. And yeah, hope you enjoy it and like the video. See you later on.